relief.
I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please
the
stop the
judge
clock.
to
Please
sign
stop the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting
You
Prince
answered the
Andrew?
question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files.
What you just watched was not a political argument. That was a sitting congressman, a former federal prosecutor, accusing the Attorney General of the United States of perjury, on camera, on the record, under oath. The evidence she said did not exist was on the table in front of her. This is not about one hearing. This is not about one name in a file. If the top law enforcement officer in America can deny documented evidence to Congress and walk out of that room without consequences, understand clearly what that means for every accountability process protecting you right now. They closed the case. The evidence did not close with it. Stay until the end. What they tried to bury is still here.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
That single word, yes, just established a federal crime on the record. Bondi confirmed she redacted a victim's face. Federal law is clear. Anyone who patronized Epstein's operation is guilty. The photos exist. The victim exists. The Department of Justice closed the case anyway. Accountability was demanded in that room. It was not given.
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I
question.
answer your question about protecting
You
Prince
answered the
Andrew?
question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
Bondi had no answer, So she pointed backward. Garland, Barr, Acosta. And she is not wrong, every one of them failed. Every one of them had the power to act and stood down. But accountability does not expire. A crime does not become legal because the last 4 attorneys general looked away. The obligation does not transfer to whoever failed before you. It transfers to whoever holds the office right now. Pam Bondi holds the office right now. And what we just watched was the Attorney General of the United States, the top law enforcement officer in this country, say on the record, on camera, under oath, that there is no evidence Donald Trump committed a crime. A former federal prosecutor heard that statement. He had a document in his hand that said otherwise. He was 30 seconds away from putting it on screen.
I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness.
She said it on camera. There is no evidence. Then the evidence appeared on screen. That is not a political disagreement. That is accountability collapsing in real time, inside the institution that is supposed to enforce it. 1,000 victims are still waiting. The next 60 seconds will show you exactly what that waiting looks like.
You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question, Ms.
He doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
She can't just
Madam
ad
Attorney
lib
General.
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time.
Here is what accountability looks like when it has been removed from the system entirely. Over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, 0 prosecutions of the men who paid to abuse them. The Department of Justice closed the case in July of 2025 and declared there was no evidence. The photos were already public. The witness statements were already filed. The evidence was already there. And then it got worse. After this hearing, NPR investigated the public Epstein database and found that the Department of Justice had withheld dozens of pages specifically tied to accusations against the President of the United States. 3 FBI interview summaries. A woman who said she was assaulted when she was between 13 and 15 years old, missing from the public record. The department said they were mistakenly coded as duplicates. Every single document they failed to release named the same person. Reps. Liu and Goldman formally demanded a special counsel to investigate Bondi for perjury. Meanwhile, every Epstein survivor in that hearing room raised their hand when asked if they had never spoken to the Department of Justice. Every single one. This is what accountability failure looks like at scale. A system built over decades to protect the powerful and exhaust the survivors until they stop asking. Should the Department of Justice face an independent investigation, or do we trust this process to correct itself? Drop your answer below. Do not let this disappear.